everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Sharon, and this is a channel that is dedicated to all things related to narcissism. I've been married to a covert narcissist for almost 20 years. I'm separated from him now, and what I do with this channel is I use my real life experiences to get information out there to people about what narcissism really is, what it looks like, what it does to you, and what it does to your family. In today's video, I'm going to be taking a sneak peek behind the veil. I'm going to be talking about how a narcissist thinks, talking about their delusions of grandeur. Before I get into the video, I'd like to say that the reason that I'm releasing a video on Saturday this week instead of Friday is yesterday was a really rough day. I have a pet rabbit, his name is Samson, and he passed away, and that made it impossible for me to get the video out on time, so I do apologize. In honor of Samson, also known as Sammy, the last few photos in the video are of him. So getting into the video. Typically, when you think of somebody who is narcissistic, you think of somebody who's vain and full of themselves. But what narcissism really is, who a narcissist really is somebody who believes in an idealized, grandiose view of themselves. Essentially, they are delusional. They hold beliefs that are not in line with reality. Narcissists live in a fantasy world of self-deception and magical thinking, and they expect you to go along with it. Everybody else has to also see the narcissist in this way, particularly if you are in a relationship with a narcissist. You must believe in their fantasy view of themselves. Narcissists park their sorry selves right in the middle of hallucinations of power and brilliance. So while it seems to outside people that they're really high on themselves, narcissism is really a coping mechanism for low self-esteem and self-worth. A narcissist is always avoiding any hint of reality, and it takes a lot of work to do that. This is why, and I've said in other videos, oftentimes, it's not uncommon, I should say, for a narcissist to do drugs or drink alcohol to excess, because this helps them hide from who they really are. They don't want to see themselves because deep down inside, they know who they are, but they will do everything to avoid that. Now, a little bit later in the video, I'm going to give you an example of a time that my ex actually saw who he was and what happened. Now, narcissists are people that lack object constancy in whole object relations. They're mentally ill, and part of their mental illness means they don't see reality. Narcissists have a personality disorder. So if you lack object constancy like a narcissist does, this means that you only see people in a black and white way. People are either good or they're bad. There's no gray area in between. Narcissists, of course, only look at themselves as good. You, though, can be good or bad. This is why it seems like 1 minute the narcissist just loves you like, you're the best person who ever lived. 5 minutes later, they hate you and you're the worst person who ever lived. It's because of this object constancy. They can't see you for who you really are. If you do something good, this is what they'll love bomb you. You do something bad, they don't like something you said, something you did, they will devalue you immediately. This is where silent treatment comes in and such things like that. They will punish you because now you're bad. And when you're bad, they hate you. If you think about somebody that you would be angry with, like if I've been angry with my kids before, but if I'm angry with my kids, I don't hate them when I'm angry with them. I still love them. I'm aware that I love them. I'm angry at something that they did, but the way that I feel about them doesn't change. I'm angry at the incident, whatever it is they did, but my love for them is always there. That doesn't go away. That can't go away. But a narcissist doesn't have the ability to love anybody, so they just see you in the moment. You did something they don't like, you're bad now, and they're going to punish you. They're going to react to that. That's what narcissists do. That's a part of the mental illness. Whole object relations is the ability to form a realistic and stable view of yourself. Of course, like we already said, narcissists are delusional. There is no stable or realistic view of themselves, so they don't have whole object relations. So not only can they not see a realistic view of themselves, they don't see a realistic view of anybody else. A healthy individual can look at themselves honestly and recognize, okay, there are good things about me and there are bad things about me. You're a nuanced person. A narcissist doesn't see that. When it comes to themselves, all they see is the good things, even if they make it up. A narcissist will make things up about themselves. They're not honest with themselves. They have to view themselves as better than everybody else. So when you are in a relationship with somebody like this, this is what's going on in the narcissist's mind. They're always propping themselves up, and they will step on you to do it. they don't have any real ability to love or care about somebody else. The only positive thing a narcissist can do is like you in the moment, but it's not a long-lasting thing. So when you're in a relationship with a narcissist, you actually don't have any stability. Now, one way that my ex used to prop himself up was by claiming that things that were his parents were his. So this is kind of a weird thing, and I couldn't understand it for a long time in my relationship. His parents, I'm going to just talk about his father, but his father is an overt narcissist. My ex is a covert narcissist. Now, very typically, overt narcissists are more successful than covert narcissists, and that was definitely the case in this situation. My father-in-law is a very successful businessman. He's very wealthy. He's owned several beach house homes. He's always flying wherever he wants. He goes on expensive vacations. They have nice things, nice cars. That's his parents, right? He owns lots of businesses, but that isn't my ex. But what my ex would do is he would claim things that were his father's were his. So one day he was working on his resume and he wanted to show me this resume. So I'm looking at his resume and reading it over, and then I get to this part where he says that he owned and operated several mini golf courses. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, what the heck? He doesn't own any mini golf courses. So I said to him, why did you put this on your resume? That's not true. And he looked at me shocked. Yes, it is. My father owns several mini golf courses. He owns 3 mini golf courses. And I'm like, yeah, your father does, but you don't. And you didn't run these mini golf courses. You scooped ice cream at one of the mini golf courses. And that's fine. If I owned a mini golf course, I'd probably hire my kids too. But they're not running it. It's not theirs. But for him, this is how he viewed it. So he was very upset when I pointed this out. And I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't know that I was about to burst his narcissistic bubble. I had no clue. I just saw what he wrote, and it was just ridiculous to me. It was so absurd. And my thought was, is he trying to make himself look better? I didn't realize he actually really believed this. He looked at it like, this is what it was. He did own these. He did run these mini golf courses, and he had also done that in several times. His parents have a beach house, and so he would, or they used to, they don't have anymore, but he would say, oh yeah, well, our home, our beach house. And I'm like, what the heck? This is a married man. He doesn't live with his parents. He has his own home with me. So I was like, we don't live in a beach house. It's not ours. And he's like, well, yeah, it's my parents, so it's mine. That type of thing. And so because I don't do that. If I was telling you something that my parents had, I wouldn't tell you it was mine. If I'm talking about my parents' house, that's how I would say it. Well, my parents' house, that's not how he did this. So at that moment, when I was talking about the mini golf courses, I burst his bubble, and he was looking at reality, and it got ugly quick. He didn't like looking at reality. Now, this was a time I didn't know what narcissism was. I had no idea what happened. I was really very innocent in this, and I just looked at this and I was so surprised. He started melting down. He started crying. He was distraught. Then he started talking about how his father did everything. He's never accomplished anything on his own. So the reality was right there. I inadvertently brought it to the surface. So he started making this whole long list. The college that my ex went to was the one college my father-in-law couldn't get into. So my father-in-law didn't get into this college. Neither did my ex. What happened was, when my ex got denied to go there, he really wanted to go there, and my father-in-law pulled strings and got him in. So that's how he got in. He didn't get in on his own. Suddenly he realized this, and he tells me, I didn't get into the college on my own. My father did that. And then he started talking about jobs he's had. I didn't get these jobs on my own. My father got them. I didn't do them. I did nothing. I couldn't do this on my own. Then he's talking about his house. When I met my ex, he owned his own home. He had a 3-family income property. So he lived in one of the apartments and he rented out the other 2. He told me that he bought this place. This is actually part of what attracted me to him in the first place. I was impressed by that. I was like, wow, he bought his own house and he was 25. I thought that was so impressive, because when I was 25, I did not own my own home. I was still renting an apartment and trying to scrape together rent money. So that was my life compared to his. So I was impressed by that. I thought that was amazing. Turns out, of course, I found out later that my father-in-law bought the house for him. He bought the house for him, and he put down all the money for it. He gave my ex the money for the house. Later, when the house was sold, he didn't make my ex pay him back. So it was all my father-in-law who did this. Then it came to me. My ex said, even you. If it wasn't for my father, I wouldn't have you. You wouldn't be mine. And the reason he said that was because our fathers are friends. So that's how I met my ex. If it wasn't, so I mean, kind of true, I guess what you're saying. If it wasn't for our fathers knowing each other, I would never have met my ex. So even I came from his father, and he was distraught. He was distraught. He was crying. He was really upset for a while. Then he got himself back together. He pulled himself back together, and I had to pay. An immediate silent treatment happened. He was cold, he was ruthless, he was cruel, because I inadvertently brought reality to him, and a narcissist does not do reality. They never. A narcissist has to live in their delusions. That's the only place that they feel safe. So when you are with somebody like this, there's always this potential. And like in my case, I did it by accident. I didn't even know what I was doing. I was just looking at something and commented on it. Narcissists will always punish you. These are people that have no problem being cruel. That's part of being narcissistic. They're completely self-centered. They live in a delusional reality, and nobody can go near the truth, whether it's them, you, your kids, anybody. If they can't live in that delusions of grandeur, they're going to turn on you, and they're going to turn on you quick. Now, a healthy relationship is based on mutual respect and caring. Narcissists aren't capable of true reciprocity. They don't see you. They don't hear you. They don't recognize you as somebody who exists outside of their own needs. True narcissists really hold beliefs contradicted by reality. A true narcissist really is a delusional person. Narcissistic personality disorder involves a pattern of self-centered, arrogant thinking and behavior, a lack of empathy, an excessive need for admiration. They're rude, manipulative, selfish, and demanding. They're extremely resistant to changing their behavior, even when it causes them problems. So often people in relationships with them find it easier to go along with a narcissist to avoid their coldness and rages. My advice to you is never buy into a narcissist version of who you are. Let go of the need for approval from a narcissist. The reality really is you're with somebody, if you're in a relationship with somebody like this, you're with somebody who is delusional, somebody that won't look at reality. They refuse. They won't do it. So you're never going to have a relationship where this person is a real partner, a real person, and this person also will never see you. It is impossible to be happy in a narcissistic relationship. The best you can hope for in a narcissistic relationship is that you can keep the narcissist from raging on at you. You can keep the narcissist happy enough. You can walk well enough on eggshells where a narcissist isn't going to blow up at you over every little thing. That isn't a life. And of course, if you're raising children with a narcissist as well, your kids are going to see this, and your kids are going to be affected by this. You know, my son actually brought to my attention one day, and it was kind of funny in a way. You know, my ex would always talk about how he is so good at sports. He's the best at all sports. He could have gotten this college scholarship. He could have gone on to professional sports. I mean, he's telling us this. You know, the reality, though, when my son mentioned this, he's like, you know how Daddy always says he's so good at sports, he's so good at everything. So like, do you remember the time he broke his ribs pumping gas? I mean, so this is the reality. This is this person who's claiming he's so spectacular at sports. He could have played professional baseball, but instead of being in the MLB, he decided to go into finance. You know, I mean, it's ridiculous. It's not true. So he decided to go into finance and make decent but not great money instead of making millions of dollars in the MLB. This is what he wants us to believe. So a couple of years ago, my ex went to the gas station to get gas. He fell down and broke ribs. So, you know, my son brought that to our attention. It was kind of funny, but it's just a good analogy. I mean, this is the person, right? So somebody who's so spectacular, and I know everybody can have an accident, but it was just funny the way my son said it. Like, this realization came to him all of a sudden. Wait a minute. This person who puts himself up as an athlete, you know, a superior athletic being, couldn't pump gas without breaking his ribs. So it just, you know, their reality is what they believe it is, what they're pretending it is, and they want you to fall into it. Once you recognize the truth, like my son recognized the truth about him, I recognized the truth about him, don't pull the wool back over your eyes. If your eyes are open and you see this person for who they are, please take action to improve your life. It's not easy, it's not difficult, but anything worth doing isn't necessarily going to be easy. You have a beautiful opportunity now that you're awake to live a new life. And it's hard to do that, I know. I'm going through it too. But right in front of you, the light is on. You can follow that path and have the life that you want. A narcissist is always going to be a narcissist. A narcissist is only going to have their delusions. You can have reality. Thank you very much for watching this video. Very grateful and appreciative of everybody who watches my videos. And again, I apologize for having the video be late. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider doing so. And hopefully all will go well, and I will be back on Monday with another video. I hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and if you are a mother, happy Mother's Day. God bless.